Previously on my channel. I think that's it for all of my little updates that I have. For right now, the Animal Crossing video will come out regardless, even if I have only 2 or 3 characters. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. A while back I started playing Animal Crossing again, and it reminded me that I wanted to do a video in which I redesign my villagers, but as humans. I've seen plenty of artists do the same thing on YouTube and Instagram, so I just wanted to add to the big pile of Animal Crossing fan art that basically already exists. This particular video came with a lot of challenges. As you heard in the beginning, I had originally planned for multiple characters to show up in this video, but because I hate myself, I decided at the very last minute to make things extremely complicated. And it kind of came down to the wire when it came to making this video, but I'll touch a little on that later. Right now, let's just go ahead and get started with our first villager. So I am drawing these characters in the order in which I met them within the game, and I wanted to start with Dom since he was one of my first starting villagers. And if you guys would like to see my reaction to Dom and find out who my other starting villager was, you can go check out my other Animal Crossing video linked in the iCard above. Dom was also the first character I sketched out as a human in my sketchbook. When it came to the redesign, I wanted to keep elements of the original model, so I dabbled with keeping his hair sort of round and bubbly and giving him his little tooth. But I knew when it came to his horns that I wanted to make them into headphones. And apparently I wasn't the only one who had this idea. When it came time to look for inspiration online, pretty much most of the artists drew him with headphones. In terms of inspiration, I tried to find images of people that I thought might look like Dom if he was actually a human, or just gave off the same playful energy as him. So I looked at people like Chris Pratt from Community, Mikey from Recess, and I found a few images on Shutterstock to help me with referencing as well. With this series, I'm also using my new Bodycoon and Bodychan art mannequins to help me with the posing, and so far they have done the job with getting a better understanding of anatomy. I do sometimes need to use multiple references or just take my own alongside using them, but honestly, I feel like the more references I have, the better. So Dom has a jock personality type, so he's always talking about working out and his muscles, which surprised me at first when I saw him initially because I would have never thought this adorable little character would be into lifting weights. So for his body, I wanted him to have an average type of build. In my mind, I figured Dom was strong, but he was hiding a lot of that muscle underneath some bulk. Plus in the game, the sheep characters, like Dom, don't really have proper fitting clothes. The clothes that they wear don't really cover their midsection, so this kind of gave me the idea to give Dom a big stomach that was sort of poking out. He's not overweight, his gut just sticks out, plus the shirt that he's wearing is probably 2 sizes too small. So it really wraps around the curves of his body. And I think having him show off his muscles just makes him more adorable. I ended up not liking the roundness of his hair I had in my original sketch, so I opted to just make it curly. I do find it difficult to draw really curly hair since different sections can go in all sorts of directions. I ended up trying my best, and although I don't think it gives off the appearance of being curly, it does look messy, like he had just been running around or something, so it kind of worked out in the end. For his headphones, I did model them after Beats by Dre, and I tried to draw a leaf logo on the side of them, so hopefully you guys caught that. Eventually, when I get to the coloring, I do make the headphones look like his horns, with the same striped pattern that he has. I kept the same tie-dye print that he had, I just ended up lightening it a bit just because I felt like the bright colors of the shirt were kind of contrasting too much with the background. And I gave him some high-top sneakers because, you know, he's a jock villager. I made them the same color as his headphones to sort of help tie the whole outfit together, and that's it. I finished rendering it out and Dom was done. Or so I thought. You may notice that there is a background, and this goes back to the beginning when I said this video was giving me some challenges. So the background was actually a last-minute thing I added to my sketch before doing the line art. And really quick, I would like to address the fact that I did end up taking a picture within the game of Dom's house, and I used that for my background. So since I decorated the outside of his house to sort of reflect his personality, I thought it would make a great background, but because I was pressed for time, I knew I wouldn't be able to draw it from scratch. So I actually ended up just tracing the picture itself. And since I'm just doing this for YouTube and I'm not really planning on selling these or anything like that, I didn't really feel bad about tracing it. And I think I might have pissed off the art gods by tracing, I'm not too sure, because holy crap, did this take me forever to line and color in. I will say that there were some advantages to the tracing, like I could dress up some of the objects around his house, specifically the basketball hoop that he has. You can, if you guys can tell, I added some sort of wear and tear to it, to the backboard. I did add a few stickers to it as well. There's a sticker of Dom and Lucha, like their actual animal forms, and Lucha is another villager that'll show up later on. So I added those two since they were my two jock villagers. I also ended up fixing the wood flooring that's in front of his house. I made it to extend all the way up to his house, that way it didn't have that weird gap of grass that normally you would get whenever you lay down a path. And just some things here and there, you know, I just kind of spruced up things a bit, but ultimately everything was more or less the same. And one thing I did learn from doing the line art is that I can actually use a clear ruler to make straight lines. In my experience, Paint Tool Sai doesn't really have a good way of making straight lines normally. I think this got fixed in Paint Tool Sai version 2, but as I've said in many videos before, I've tried to use version 2, it just didn't work for me. I couldn't get it to work on my computer, so I just used version 1. But I kind of thought, what's stopping me from using, you know, a ruler to get the straight lines that I need? I think the only thing you have to be worried about is making sure that the ruler is straight itself. And it does take a little bit of practice to get used to. Zooming in did help me to get precise straight lines. After the line art was done, I went to the flats, and this is where I started to feel like it wouldn't really come together. I don't know if anyone else feels like this, but whenever I do the flat colors, I feel like the picture ends up looking like a coloring book or like a paint by numbers type of situation. And I think it kind of goes, my drawing kind of goes back into an ugly phase. And I was just color picking using my eye and using the picture of Dom's house that I had took within the game. But when I had taken that picture, it was really early in the morning, and so the sun wasn't all the way out, so the colors looked really dark. But I did end up finding a picture on the Animal Crossing wiki of Dom's house that was in clear daylight, and so I used that to help me sort of adjust the colors. But after having the flats done, all that's left to do is to render out the whole drawing, and because the background was the most daunting thing for me, I just decided to work on that first. I wanted to start with the background, and I wanted to start coloring in the background and sort of move my way forward towards the foreground. I think this was the right choice because I do have a tendency to work on the character first, since that's what I'm most comfortable with. But I was worried if I did this, Dom wouldn't blend in with the background. He would look a little bit different. And I'll be honest, I'm not really a big fan of how I color the background. I think it looks very cartoony and amateurish. I think this mostly has to do with the line art. I think whenever you have color and then sort of a harsh black outline that's, you know, sort of keeping the color within the space, it tends to look very cartoony. And then with my coloring, I feel like it can get to a point where it looks very shiny and sort of plasticky. So it can look a little bit unnatural, but to be fair, I don't really color backgrounds all too much, but I did just, you know, I did give it my best shot. I did try to add some texture to the wood of the house and to the bushes as well that are on the side. And to me, I think it looks all right. Overall, I think I learned a lot with this one. Most importantly, I learned not to make big decisions last minute or else you're going to drive yourself insane. So, never going to do that again, hopefully. Fingers crossed. And I'm not sure if I'll continue to have the background with the characters. I do really like them, but to draw them all from scratch and, you know, kind of do it the quote-unquote right way, I suppose, that might take a little bit longer. So So I'll have to see how the next one turns out. I actually already have the line art for that one done for both the character and the background. I basically did the same thing with the tracing of the background. So maybe I'll do that again and I'll see how that one goes, knowing that I'm actually going to be doing a background this time and I'll have more time to work on it. I'm sorry if this video seems like it's kind of rushed or if it's weird in any way. It is kind of hard to show all of my process that I've done when I only have so much to talk about. I think this entire thing, this entire artwork took me maybe a little more than 9+ hours to do. So to go through all of that footage, you know, we would be here all day and I don't have that much to say about the whole thing, you know. But anyway, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I post new art videos every other Wednesday, so consider subscribing to the channel by clicking my logo on the screen or the subscribe button down below. If you'd like to further support this channel and me, you can buy me a Ko-fi in the link below, and anyone who donates gets a shout out at the end of my videos. Thanks, guys!